Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Is it possible that your programming is keeping your clients stuck? If you stick around today, we're going to share with you some powerful programming tools and secrets that you can use to create amazing custom programs with your clients and get breakthrough results. So you definitely want to stick around to the end because we've got a special surprise for you today at the end. So definitely stay to the end today. So welcome everybody to our educational series. We are back from the New Year's holidays with myself, Jeff Mellis, the Exercise Therapy Association, and Mr. Brendan Fox. Brendan, how was your holidays?
It was amazing. I got to spend New Year's with my parents for the first time since I lived at home, which was a really happy accident from this whole COVID bubble thing. So I totally loved having that unique opportunity. And Jeff, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. So I spent some time with my parents, came over for 3 days, and it was just me and my wife and my parents. And I really appreciated to get to spend some quality time with them. So it's the year for that, I guess. It's the year for that.
Absolutely. Oh, wait. How do we do this? Virtual high five. Ready? No, there you go. Boom. Yeah, right.
We did something there. So thanks for everybody for joining us. Say hi. Let us know you're there. Maybe drop in your favorite emoji. We really appreciate everybody that joins us on this live education series. We are doing this for you. We wanted to show up and support everybody. We're into our third lockdown in Toronto. There's a lot of places that are locked down, not just in Canada, but all over the world. And we know that fitness, health, and professionals have been taking a hard hit in all these lockdowns. And so we want to find ways to show up and support you because we know that the work that all you health and fitness pros do is extremely important. And the longer this thing goes on, we know that it gets tougher a little bit more mentally. And we need you guys, your clients need you guys to stay engaged, to stay motivated, progressing, and moving forward for everybody. That's super important. And so that's why we're doing this. Well, that's why we're showing up for you guys to make sure that we keep you engaged. So thank you for everybody that's joining us. There's so many people that, during this third lockdown, maybe decided to sleep in or are Netflixing or having a lazy morning. And the people that show up to learn are the people that are not only mentally strong, but are the people that are going to come out of this whole thing stronger with thriving businesses. So it's absolutely awesome. We also want to give a special shout out to all our exercise therapy cert grads. Anybody that's got the exercise therapy certification, drop a heart emoji into the chat there so we know who you are and where you are. We've got a special place in our hearts for you guys, so definitely throw in that heart emoji there for us. So we're going to get into our topic in just a moment here, and we're going to cover some really amazing pain-free programming secrets today, and we're going to be sharing with you some of our valuable tools. We have our head instructor, Brendan Fox from the Exercise Therapy Association here. And just to give you a little background on Brendan, in case you haven't heard him before present or teach or talk, Brendan has been in the health and fitness industry for over 18 years. He's got a degree in kinesiology from Wilfrid Laurier University. And he worked at a medical clinic alongside doctors working on some of the toughest and most difficult injury cases out there and developed his own system of getting people out of pain and getting them moving well, pain-free, functional, and performing. He took that system, he applied it to Olympic gold medalists, he applied it to pro athletes and competitors, as well as using that to present at numerous international fitness conferences and be a guest star on a lot of different television shows. So he is a wealth of wisdom. Now, before he gets going on today's topics, want to make sure that as many people benefit from today's educational series as possible. So if you're here watching with us and you have a colleague or coworker that you think might benefit from learning to program pain-free, share this feed with them right now. Tag them in the comments or share this feed with them so that they can benefit from the wisdom that Brendan's going to share with us today, because we definitely want to get as much out of this, as many people impacted as possible out of today's wisdom. So, Brendan, today we are going to be chatting about one of your most valuable tools, the pain-free ABCs. This is one of my favorite tools that we teach, even though it's so simple. Once you learn it, it's so simple, but it's so powerful. And the reason that I love it so much is that, you know, there's a lot of people out there wondering how to best put together a program for their client, or they're using sort of cookie cutter formulas, A1, A2, that kind of thing. I've seen a lot of that in my 17 years in the fitness industry. But this tool helps people create custom programming where everything in the program has a purpose and a reason, and it's all helping and benefiting the client move forward. And it makes creating amazing programs very, very simple once you use this tool. So that's why I love it. Can you share with us your insights on why creating pain-free ABCs is such a powerful concept?
Sure, and I'll speak to two different audiences. So for the people who have taken exercise therapy training before, this will be a good review, and I'll be adding some additional insights and application of this tool. For those who haven't taken the training, then I'll be sharing with you a tool that you'll be able to apply immediately with your clients. So I just want to be able to acknowledge that I'm speaking to two different audiences there. Before even going into this tool, it's important to kind of take a high-level overview of what we really do for our clients and the benefits that we give them. So all of your clients come to you for benefits, okay? There's a reason they come to you. And just throw down in the chat some of the reasons that your clients come and see you. What are the goals, priorities? What are some of the reasons that people see you in particular? We want to know, because it's different for everybody. But what are some of the reasons people come and see you? All right. So for me, in the beginning of my career, I was getting a lot of like max strength training. I was getting a lot of like preparing for fitness shows. You know, that's changed a little bit more as my career's evolved, as I've changed. I'm getting more for solutions to aches and pains, and more personal empowerment, and pain-free, injury-free training, and very high-level performance stuff. But, you know, so just throw some of those comments in there. And then whatever it is, there's basically 4 buckets of benefits that clients see you for. There's 4 buckets, okay? Personal training clients. Bucket number 1 is motivation. One of the reasons they see you is for motivation. So you might have that. That might be one of the reasons people see you. They're like, I need accountability, right? So that's a motivation bucket offering that you have. Another bucket is education. They just need to learn the techniques of exercise, learn the varieties of exercise, learn the process, right? The other bucket of improvement in body composition. It might be a result of an improvement in strength or improvement in skill. And then the final category is safety. So, and safety is one of the ones that people don't talk about as much. And safety a lot of times comes down to peace of mind. And though a lot of people don't put as much emphasis on this, I can tell you that, you know, working as a head trainer for as many years as I did, whenever a client would come and they'd present an issue they're having with their trainer, a lot of times it was a concern over safety. You know, like, I hurt my knee doing lunges before, and they know that. And then they had me do lunges again, and now I'm concerned I'm going to get injured. I need a new trainer. Or it might be something like that. And it's possible that in that situation, the trainer still made the right choice. Maybe the injury had nothing to do with the lunges, and whatever it was has been resolved. But client perception is what really matters most, because they're your boss, right? And I think it's important that we all take extreme ownership over any of our clients' mistakes. In the same way that you never see a news report say airplane crash, or passengers crashed the airplane, In the same way, if a client fails or makes a mistake, we need to take ownership because we're the one flying this plane. So we need to second guess ourselves. So being able to train clients to have the mindset and the value that you're providing safety is an important quality of your service offering. So this tool we're going to go into, if you have any ideas, I'm interested to hear from you. If you have any ideas or strategies you currently apply to help fill that benefit bucket of safety, making your clients feel like this is a safe place, you've got their needs taken care of, anything that works for you, please feel free to share it with us to get the dialogue going on that. And I'll share with you one of my favorite tools. And Jeff and I talked about New Year's, and we did this virtual high. Jeff, give me another high five. Let's see if we can get it on. Boom! Oh, no, timing was off. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom! Okay, that was a lot better. So we talked about, I talked about living at my parents' house back in the day. And when I was a trainer, first starting out, I was living in my parents' basement. All right? Like, that's how I started. And then, my goal was to make $100,000 a year as a trainer. Eventually, I was able to do that. And then my goal was to make $200,000 a year doing just training sessions, not with like marketing and sales and other things. And I was able to do that. And all the successes I've had along the way from living in my parents' basement have all come down to having like a super powerful bag of tricks. Like, your career success and your financial success in your career is directly proportional to your bag of tricks. And you need to have an awesome bag of tricks because that would gives you the reputation. So when clients have a high need, like they're in pain or they're sensitive to pain, and you have high expertise, you can get high compensation for that because there's no shortage of people that are in pain these days. But what you might notice is if you've got somebody who's had issues with aches and pains, they're super nervous around you. They might be like, I don't want to do a body weight squat. I might throw at my back or whatever. And you're like, are you insane? Like, come on, right? But you might notice how this like fear mechanism, how sensitive it is in them. So we need a tool out of the bag of tricks that can help manage expectations and give your clients assurance that you're conducting yourself safely and responsibly. So the tool that we're talking about today that I apply to help clients meet the psychological need to feel safe is the pain-free ABCs, okay? And I explain that this is a tool we're going to use, and I'll show them a handout. I printed it out here. I'm like, here's a tool we're going to use, and I'll show it to them. And I'll say, the purpose of this tool is so we can learn the stretches and exercises that are best for you, okay? It's normal to have a setback, right? I'm not a fortune teller. I can't predict your future in every perfect way. Just know that setbacks are a normal part of the process. But we want to learn from every single one because that's going to create a blueprint of how you're unique. I'm creating a unique blueprint of you. And I'm keeping this in your client file and I'm referencing it every time I revise. Really what pain-free ease is it's basically a way that I catalog the exercises that have been very safe and helpful for a client. They go in the A list, okay? Questions that have ever caused aches or pains or contraindicated go in the C list. Those are hazardous exercises. And then the B list is the questionable stuff. It's like sometimes this is on, sometimes this is off, okay? And I'll give you an example. Like I had, oh, yes, Jeff.
One of the things that I just want to remind everybody watching of that you said that, was super, super powerful there was it's not just about the program, but you talked about the prep work or the warm up as well and the stretches that they prescribe because, sometimes, and I've been in fitness for 17, 18 years now, and I managed one of the largest teams in North America of trainers. And I would see a lot of trainers going out and doing the same sort of routine to warm people up. Okay, we're going to do a few of these, we're going to do this stretch or that stretch or this banded distraction. But everybody was doing the same sort of stuff to get ready for a workout. But you're applying the same tool, the same pain-free ABCs, to the stretches, the prep work, and the warm up as well. And I think that's really powerful takeaway for a lot of our fit pros watching. And I want to make sure that they wrote that one down. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it shows your value in customization, right? It actually gives verifiable proof that I'm customizing for you. And it also gives them assurance you're not going to make the same mistake twice. And when I say mistake, it doesn't mean that you made a mistake. Your client might perceive that you made a mistake. For example, they might say, you know what, you gave me planks, and 3 days later I threw out my back when I was gardening, so your planks injured me. Or they draw conclusions in very uneducated ways. So we just need to be able to have something that kind of shows that we're being professional with the process, right? So let's go through an example of this, okay? Let's say you have a client and they have a very sensitive low back, okay? We're going to say at this point, we don't really know what the problem is for the low back, but they got a very sensitive low back. They've had success doing some isometric core exercises, doing some planks, side planks. They've had success with bird dogs, right? So if they've had success with those exercises and they feel those exercises are helping them, what category would we put those exercises into? A list, meaning safe, B list, questionable, or C list, hazardous, right? Really a no-brainer here on this one. I really came out of the gates with a super easy one because I want everyone to have some winning momentum to be like, yes, I got this. That's an A. Absolutely, it's an A. But when they see me put their favorite exercises down there, they think, yes, I like where this is going. I can already know I'm getting results. It's so easy to just get those psychological MVP points. And that's what we're after. We're just showing we're paying attention. It's like, no, I'm paying attention here. And then, they might say something like, even though I've had this back problem, some days I go for a run and it makes things worse. And then some days I go for a run and it makes things, and I feel better after. And they're like, but I want to continue running, but what do we do with that? So what category would we put that in? If running is sometimes good, sometimes bad, what category would we put that in? We'd probably put that in the B list. It's questionable. B list, questionable, right? And we leave it there because sometimes it's neutral, sometimes it's okay. There's some other factors involved. So that's the deal with that one there. I just want to give a shout out to Devin Size, who's fashionably late, right? Fashionably late, but very punctual on his response in the chat. And I think, for me, the most unfortunate thing about being punctual is none of my clients ever show up to their sessions on time to appreciate it. Because I'm always on time for my sessions, right? But, working downtown, it's just been one of those things. If they only knew. But I digress. Okay. So now, another example might be this. The client has back pain, okay? And let's say I'm going through my list of exercises I might consider. I'm trying to put together some recipes. Let's say I come across a deadlift, all right? Barbell deadlift. Where would you put barbell deadlift in this client who has back pain right now, periodic back pain? A list, B list, or C list? Right? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's truth through experience. But where would you begin? What's your line of thinking here? Jeff, what about you? Where would you begin if somebody said deadlift? A list, B list, or C list?
If it's a brand new client, I haven't worked with them yet, I would want to, go on the side of caution and put them in a C just because I don't know yet. And there might be some evidence later down the line where I can upgrade it to a B or A, but for just to be cautious, I'd start with the C there.
Yeah, I think that's a very wise approach to begin, because one of the things you can do down the road, and this is very motivational, you can say, hey, you've come so far. You used to be like this when we started. You were in pain all the time. You were a beginning exerciser. Over this past year, you've gotten strong. You haven't had any setbacks. So we might be able to experiment with some of these because they've got some benefits and maybe they're no longer an issue for you. So maybe we introduce them in and we'll put them in the B list. Maybe we just throw them in on occasion and then we can take it from there. Everything is an experiment. But what happens is if you have them collaborate with you in the program design, they never fault you on it because now they feel a sense of co-ownership. It's also a psychological reality that when you get somebody to participate in the solution, there is a greater likelihood they will adhere to the process. Okay? That's a big deal. The more that they participate in the solution, the more they will adhere with the process. So if any of you have ever struggled to get clients to do workouts on their own and stuff like that, this might be able to help you. If you have room for improvement on that, this might be able to help you, right? I'm a big believer that, if our clients go MIA, it's because we psychologically went MIA first. We need to be really mentally fit, mentally present. We need to really take that extreme ownership on the process and be able to foresee problems before they happen and be able to plan ahead so that people don't get taken off course. So this is one of the tools for doing that. And then one of the benefits of using this and having this in your bag of tricks, you show it to somebody. If they've ever had a trainer before and gotten injured, you just show them this and they're like, okay, nobody's done that with me before. I've heard clients say that, like prospects. Nobody's done that with me before. And I said, oh, they didn't? So I said, well, how are they ever supposed to keep track of these things? Like, I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. How am I supposed to remember what exercises are good for you, B, C, everything else? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, sometimes it's hard to even remember your spouse's birthday, right? How are you going to remember this stuff? So it's like, it puts things in perspective. It shows an endearing level of humility, okay? To just break it down to a fundamental like this. Be like, here's something in my bag of tricks. Here's how it's going to benefit you, okay? This stuff is important. I need to stay in touch with these insights. I need to remember what needs to be remembered. That's very important because a lot of times a trainer will just go into autopilot and give an exercise, give a client an exercise, forgetting that for some reason this exercise had a negative association to that client. Jeff.
So you were, you're talking about doing it with the client, and let's say putting the deadlift on the list, but this is also something that can be used in a lot of different ways where you can go home and take the list with you and brainstorm and really just fill out all the exercises based on your assessment that would fit in each category. And it also sounds like it's something that you're not going to just do off the initial assessment, but you're going to keep in their file and you're going to keep adding to the list and keep updating the list as you work with this client for the life of that you have that client.
Absolutely. I have this on file for every client. And a great point you added was when I do assessments, like let's say I do some lower body assessments. Somebody's got a twisted pelvis or they got a posterior or anterior tilt, whatever. They got a leg discrepancy, or maybe they have some knee issues, alta or issues, pronated ankles, whatever assessments you have in your system right now. Those assessments give you powerful knowledge to be able to do this with greater proficiency, okay? Because then you can say, hey, we've got this postural issue, so these items go in the C list because we don't want to make it worse, right? And you can show that to them. You can be like, hey, look, I know you're doing that group class, and I know you guys are doing this reverse triangle stretch, but because of the nature of your back problem, that's actually considered hazardous and risky right now. When they're doing that in the group class, how do you feel about modifying it with some like planks or something instead, right? They love that. They love that because you're now really going into their world and helping them fine tune their actions so that they can fulfill that fourth bucket or third bucket, whatever it was, results. So being able to just have that powerful knowledge. And once again, going back to the bag of tricks, the more assessments you have in your bag of tricks and the more powerful assessments, the more that you can win clients over, create raving fans, and do stuff like this even more efficiently. And one of the things is too, like even on the back, one of the things I do is after we've gone through this process for a while, Then I start to go into like Sherlock Holmes mode. And I start to be like, okay, let's take a look at everything that ended up in your C list. Do we notice any commonalities of them? For example, everything that was in the C list was something where you flexed your low back forward, spinal flexion. Okay, now we can kind of draw some inferences from that. Maybe we avoid spinal flexion in the associated movements for now. It's aggravating something. Or I might take a look at the C list and it's like every time you're doing twisting stuff, that's what's causing the aggravation. We've cracked the code. We've totally cracked the code. And I've done this for one of my clients, Rob. I've been training him for 14 years. We're doing him for 14 years. Chronic low back pain patient before I started with him. I cracked the code with him in 3 months. He's kept me in his life for 14 years as a result because I cracked the code for him and nobody else was able to. He was in constant like getting his back put together, and he had some experiences with a trainer that didn't last because immediately he felt like things were going in the wrong direction. So getting this gives you the clues that you can use to crack that code and create breakthroughs for your clients with their long-term aches and pains. Jeff.
Yeah, let's take a look at maybe a practical example of this. So just so the people watching can get an idea. So let's say, for example, you have a client and they show up and they have a concern. So they have an anterior pelvic tilt, right? And you've verified that in your assessment. How might you use this with that particular client?
Okay, good. So I want to know from you in the chat box, somebody has an anterior pelvic tilt. So that means that their pelvis is tipped forward, usually associated with really tight hip flexors, perhaps quads, and perhaps their hamstrings and glutes are a little slack. And I'm just making some generalizations here that come along with anterior pelvic tilt. But assuming that, you as people in the chat, because we're doing this as a group project, what kinds of things might you put in the A list? What are the things that you think would be generally safe for this individual if they've got that lower cross syndrome, anterior pelvic tilt? What kinds of things might you put in the C list that you think might make things worse, right? Aside from anything that they tell you makes worse, like I might ask them, hey, what makes you worse? They might throw a few ideas out there, whatever. I might write them down. And then what might be in the middle, right? So for me, I'll start with A list. For me, things that might be safe are things that decrease tension in the muscles on the front of the hips. So if we're doing percussion or foam rolling for hip flexors, quads, that might be safe. If they're not too hypermobile, if their ligaments are too loose, stretching might be very safe for them, right? Also, so I'm trying to loosen up things on the front of the body where it's presumed they're tight on the front of the body. Also, what might be safe are some glute isolation exercises, right? Maybe we got some variations on glute kickbacks that we're throwing in there, or side leg raises and banded side steps, maybe squats with the band around the knees. These might all be goblet squats, bands around the knees. These might all be some safe things to start off, but they're generally very low risk anyway. Just to tighten up the muscles on the back side of the body, which would restore harmonious posture. I always think of, have you ever seen those watches that are like clear and you can see all the gears and all the gears are working? Amazing stuff. One day, if I ever wear a watch, it would be one of those ones with the open gears, the clear face, right? But I don't know why we ever need watches in this day and age. We got phones, right? So it behooves me that industry is still surviving. I think it's just the jewelry industry now. That's what it is. Watches are just jewelry. They're not serving a purpose anymore. I don't wear my phone on my wrist so I can check my time. That would be more functional, right? Anyway, so what it really comes down to is when I'm looking at people, I'm trying to look at them and see through and see the gears working. And I'm trying to imagine those gears. So when somebody's got like an anterior pelvic tilt, I know that I need to do some things to loosen up the muscles on the front of the hips to help so those gears aren't as compressed, right? So that the gears start working. Everything starts working. We're not creating aches and pains because the gears aren't jammed. And then sometimes the glutes suck and they're not connecting. I got to get those gears to connect. So that's what I'm thinking with A-list. C-list is the opposite of it. So for C-list, it'd be like, okay, I just don't want to be doing anything that's, tightening your hamstrings. Like I want to limit running on the treadmill for now, right? If that's the case, we can do our cardio in other ways. If there's no other reason you need to be doing that, all right? that I want to limit running on the treadmill because that's going to drive you further into your postural dysfunction. I want to limit glute stretches. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to tighten the glutes up to align the gears. So if I start doing glute stretches like pigeon pose and some different things like this, then we're just working backwards. So when you can explain it to them, now you're giving them another bucket of value. Once again, the 4 buckets are motivation. That's why clients hire you. They hire you for education. They hire you for safety, and they hire you for results. And you need to be strategic in assessing your ability to provide those 4. Now I'm giving them education. Now they can see, and I'm explaining it to them. So now they're more empowered moving forward, and they can be pain-free. Jeff, over to you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we are running out of time a little bit here, so we are going to fast forward a little bit. And
boom, over to you. Boom. And
so
all the viewers, this one's for you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Go team. All right. Yeah, continue.
Awesome. So, do you have any final thoughts on how you use this tool to benefit your clients and really grow your training career and business?
Yes. This is an early tool. So when you're sort of in that prospecting phase, consulting, new person, this is a tool that gives them verification that you are a safe option, okay? You will also need to verify that you're going to motivate them, that you're going to give them results, and that you're going to educate them. But this helps for your value proposition of safety to new clients, especially people that are sensitive around aches and pains. If you have this tool and you're not introducing it in the beginning, then you're potentially underselling yourself. And if you don't have this tool, then I would encourage you to apply this tool in order to add it into your bag of tricks so that you can provide more value to the world, make the world a better place. And even if you never need it, just them knowing that you have something for this, they're confident that you're not going to make the same mistakes twice and that you can fly that plane without crashing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I really love this tool. As I said, I managed a team more recently of 150 trainers, and, I was the guy getting the complaints a lot of the time from the clients. And you never hear someone complain about, they didn't, know enough technique about the squat or, that kind of thing. But you did hear things like, well, my trainer's not listening to me. I told them I didn't like this, but they still did it. Or, I told them I had this problem, but they hurt my knee anyway. And those are the things that you hear, but you never hear about that other thing. And that's why I love this tool, because when you implement this in your career, it makes it so easy to have a lot of really, really great success in your career and breakthroughs with your clients. So I want to know from everybody that's watching today, what was your takeaway? So, pop it in the chat there for me. What was the best part of today's seminar? What did you get the most out of today? How are you going to implement the knowledge that you learned today? Or what do you want to hear more from us in the future in terms of your development and learning? Because again, that's really why we're here, is to show up and keep all of you engaged in your profession, to keep you motivated, to support you, and to keep you progressing and moving forward. And so when you give us that feedback, we absolutely love it. And that helps us do our job better, which is show up for you guys. So as a special bonus today, it's the first seminar of the new year. So we are going to be giving the pain-free tool to people. So that's super exciting. So if you want to get the pain-free ABCs tool, you are going to email us at info@exercisetherapyassociation.com and just ask for the tool, okay? And so make sure that you email us if you want to get a copy of this tool and you don't have it, and we will send you out the tool because it's the first seminar of the new year, and we want to kick off the new year right. So we got some great feedback there about people, what they got from the seminar. And so that's awesome, guys. Make sure you implement this wisdom with your clients. If you have a virtual client that you're seeing right now, start using pain-free ABCs concept with them right away. You don't even, if you don't have the tool, we'll send it to you, and you could just use a sheet of paper for now, but start using it right away. And if you got value today, if you even got one thing that you thought would help improve your career today, do us a favor and share this video with someone that would benefit from it. Okay, you have a lot of colleagues or coworkers in the industry, and they are trying to have success, become the go-to expert in their field as well too. So if you got something from today's seminar with Brendan Fox, tag someone in the comments, okay, or just share this onto their feed, onto their page, so that they can benefit from it as well too. Okay. So as promised, the surprise gift for today is the Pain-Free ABCs tool. Email us at info@exercisetherapyassociation.com, and we are going to share the Pain-Free ABCs tool with you so that you can move forward in your career and create some amazing breakthroughs. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. We are going to be coming back next Tuesday at the same time, 10:15. So tell a friend to show up if you liked it. Definitely mark it in your calendar. Show up to see us next week. We've got a really, really exciting webinar for you next week, okay? We are going to be sharing with you an outstanding secret about why your clients might have some reoccurring aches and pains. So if you show up next week, you're going to learn that outstanding secret from Brendan Fox and myself. Thank you for showing up. We're going to see you next time, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Learning, developing yourselves, and showing up on the front lines for those clients. Thanks so much from the Exercise Therapy Association. Mr. Fox.
And I love some of the comments that I'm seeing going through here. You guys are amazing. Devin, Mesa, like some of those comments, getting the everyday stuff mixed into this. Also, like, what did Mesa say? Oh, giving it to the clients so they've got ownership over it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We all co-created today's session together, okay? All of us did this together. And I want to take a quick time out just to acknowledge everybody who's here watching this, because I know these are challenging times for our industry. It's the most challenging time in the generation of the fitness industry. Like, historically, we're in a worldwide pandemic, and there's so many people want to be better, but career success is directly proportional to the effort you put in. And all of you put in the effort today by showing up. And all of you are now more deserving of success in your career. And I'm totally, I honor that in all of you. I respect that for all of you showing up. So what I want to do here is I want you to just give yourself a quick little hug like this for me. Since everybody's like disconnect, group hug right now, group hug, virtual. Personal trainers, most often their love language is physical touch. That's the best we can do for today. But we are all here together, one team. You're part of the family. You're part of the tribe. We're going to move forward. We're going to simplify the complex. We're going to fill up our bag of tricks with these awesome tools so you can go out there and win the day and make the world a better place. I believe in your highest potential. We're all here for you. So let's do a go team on 3, and then we'll cut out, okay? We're all going to do this together. It's going to look like this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. We do go team, and then fist bump because it's COVID, all right? Everybody ready for this? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, don't start yet. 3, go team!